Awesome. All right, guys. Good to see you. I can see Louise coming in as well. Awesome. All right, listen. So we're going to try and get through this. There's a lot of content to get through, and we're going to try and do it in 45 minutes. Hey, Louise. Okay. Because I know it's your lunchtime, and I want you to go back and feel really inspired and empowered for the rest of the afternoon. So let's kind of get going. I've designed these. So these weekly sessions, we do them every Tuesday, 12:30 to 1:15. And each week is going to be a different theme. And so today's theme, turning setbacks into strengths and then to build greater resilience, right? There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot to get through. And I've designed them in a way so they're interactive. So it would be a bit boring if you're going to just listen to me for 45 minutes. So what I mean by that is I'm going to give you some reflective questions at certain times. You definitely want a pen and paper. Yeah, you want your notepad. So if you don't have that, go grab it now, because you will get moments where you can. So it's self-reflection, right? And so that's where it's going to be really inspiring, and you're going to definitely going to get insights, breakthroughs in the way you look at setbacks, in the way you view setbacks, or we sometimes we call it failing, right, or failures, and what it's going to take for you to strengthen your resilience muscle. Because when we're thinking about personal or professional development, resilience is right up there, yeah. Not just in our careers, obviously, or businesses. I'm talking about our health and well-being. I'm talking about our relationships. I'm talking about our finances. It kind of covers all aspects of life, right? So let's let's have some fun and yeah, let's do it, you guys. So what you're going to learn today. So there's five pillars that we're going to go through. Yeah. So number one is understanding perspectives. So what I mean by that is learn how the shift from seeing life as happening to you. Now, you guys, Veronica and Louise, obviously your early days in the yoga teach training, right? Katarina's come out of training a few years ago. So you guys, you may have heard this. We speak about it when we talk about mindset, right? So there's this perspective of or having this lens that we see life that is happening to us or it's happening for us. Yeah. And they're two very different experiences. So one would have us feeling definitely more empowered. We would be coming from a place of possibility. And the other one leaves us feeling a lower vibration and definitely more in the victim kind of experience. Yeah. So yeah, viewing life as happening for you or to you can transform your response to challenges and setbacks, especially if we choose life is happening for you, right? Or for us. And then the next area we're going to look at is embracing productivity or proactivity. I'm so used to saying productivity as a high performing habit. So discovering strategies to cultivate a proactive mindset that embraces life's challenges, right? So the challenges that you face as opportunities actually for growth and personal development or professional development. Yeah. So we see challenges because there's going to be multiple challenges that are going to arise as they already have done. And we see them as opportunities actually for growth and development. Yeah. Cultivating resilience, understand the role of resilience in navigating life's ups and downs more effectively, and how to strengthen your resilience muscle through daily practices. Now, you guys have I know that you've got certain practices, right? Because you've got yoga in your life, you've got meditation in your life. So these are some practices that will absolutely strengthen your resilience muscle. Yeah. Cool. And then applying gratitude is definitely an area we need to speak to when we start to think about like navigating through challenges and setbacks, is how we explore practicing gratitude can 100% or a million percent shift your perspective, and why it's a powerful tool for seeing the positive aspects of every situation. Yeah, so gratitude is definitely the attitude when we're looking at this kind of conversation. And then finally, strategic reflection. So learning techniques for reflecting on past experiences. So we've all obviously had past experiences, right? In a way that highlights their their impact or their contribution for our growth, helping helping you reframe the story, so the narrative, and approach the challenges that will come about in the future with even greater confidence, or we could say even greater certainty. Yeah. So you feel more empowered um, when those challenges show up. So, for example, right, last night I had it all planned to complete all of these slides because there's quite a few slides. And then we get a call from the school saying that one of our sons has had an accident at school, right? So I spent 6 hours in A&E last night with him. And so this is kind of just an example of, okay, here's a setback. Here's life throwing something at you or at us, right? We thought we were just going to have a nice evening and do some of these slides and my wife was going to go and see our daughter do gymnastics, but it ended up being a kind of different night. And so whilst we were there, and it's a pretty long time to wait, is that we were bringing in kind of just, I was just helping my son or our son Noah with some kind of breathing exercises and stuff like that, just to help us through that, a tiny mini setback, right? Um, but they're kind of, they're just coming at us all the time. So you guys know, me, you guys, because I'm kind of in your world, you're in my world, right? So but for those that will listen to the recording, my background was in the tennis world. I was coaching tennis for many years, so 16 years, and it was amazing. It took me around the world. It was brilliant. I definitely learned a lot of resilience in my tennis experience. And then I founded the House of Yoga in 2012, which has been an incredible experience. It's where you guys have kind of come into our world here as just bring in a lot of holistic practices, yoga, meditation, and personal development into people's lives. And it's been incredible. We still have the training. As you guys know, we have the training academy, company, community that trains awesome yoga teachers like you guys on the live call today, right? And and so the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing I do a lot of coaching. I work with lots of different people that have great ambitions, but also they're struggling. They're having challenges in their life, and so a lot of them are business owners. I think because I've gone through the whole process myself, that I can add lots of value. But I see coaching as just as an opportunity to get really interested about our life and what's possible, and to explore how we can show up better or how we can become better at life, right? And so this conversation today is definitely connected to that vision of how can we all get better at our life, because if we get, or how can we become better at ourselves, because if we become better at ourselves, our life improves. Yeah. So let's jump in. We're going to start with a little pit stop. Okay. So just get ready to meditate. Just get yourself comfortable, sitting, not laying down, but just sitting where you are. And once you feel like you're set up, close down your eyes, and then just rest your hands where they feel comfortable. So maybe on your knees, on your lap. Close down your eyes, and just take a moment, you guys, to transition into your breathing. Just start to notice your breath. This is going to be a very quick meditation, by the way. And I want you to just transition into your breathing. So just start becoming aware of your breath. In through your nose and out through your nose. Great, well done. And now in your mind, in your awareness, start to say the word release. So this is your mantra for the next few moments, okay? And just repeat it over and over again. Nice and slowly, not too quick. So just a moment to pause and to release. Maybe that's some tension or some concerns or worries or whatever that is. Take a moment to release. And so that's what you want to be hearing in your own mind. Release. Release. Awesome. Well done, you guys. A few more moments. Great. All right. You can let go of your mantra now. You can let go of your mantra and just start to come back out here on the call, in the conversation. Well done. Great. Now, that's a really simple, accessible meditation that I do every day. I'll do it for a few minutes or sometimes up to 10 minutes. And I do believe that meditation is one of the greatest practices to build our resilience muscle. Yeah, because we become more self-aware when we commit to meditation. And so self-awareness is just a great support system to navigate through the challenges of life, right? So, let me just, before we jump into this slide, I just want you to consider that setbacks or failures, right, are necessary. They're a necessary part of our growth and learning. Yeah. Would you agree? Thumbs up if you agree. Yeah. And so, how I see it is, and I want to share this, is consider that we can be a scientist and embrace setbacks, embrace failures, right? So, what if you were to embrace life setbacks, failures as an opportunity to grow, to expand, to learn, rather than a reflection of your or our abilities? Yeah. Meaning, like a scientist is willing to experiment. Yeah. They experiment. That's what their kind of role is in the world, right? Is and failing is part of the journey to them. Yeah, they want to fail so they can learn and grow. And so if we see it as, why don't we just consider being a scientist, and we take on that way of thinking, and we basically, what happens is we can experiment and we stay very curious. Yeah, we're really curious then. What I mean is by that is we have a kind of growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset. Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. So I want to just talk to this a little bit, slide here, because just as in nature, right, our path isn't always clear or smooth. Setbacks are definitely inevitable. So it doesn't matter how much coaching or mentoring or development work that we do in our life, we're always going to face challenges. We're always going to have setbacks at some point. Yeah. But as we're now exploring, we see them as opportunities and for learnings and for insight and for growth. Yeah. But they can catch us off guard. So, like, the little mini setback that we had last night, it caught us off guard. It was just like we wasn't expecting it, and it's just something that showed up, right? So they definitely challenge our resolve, and certainly test our agility. Setbacks. Yeah, through these challenges, we have the opportunity to truly define how we choose to show up. Meaning, who are we being, right? How are we choosing to show up? The impact it has on our mindset and mental health for sure. Our energy, so our overall energy. What I mean by that is mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual energy. Yeah. Our confidence, relationships, our financial side of life, our business or career, our spirit. The impact is actually felt everywhere. Let's be honest. Yeah. So I'm not just by the setbacks themselves, but what I mean is, but how we actually choose to respond to them. So this session is really about how are we choosing to respond to challenges, setbacks, failures. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's just move on a little bit more. So building your resilience muscle isn't just about bouncing back. We hear that a lot actually when we start looking at resilience in personal development or personal growth. We always hear the statement of bouncing back, right? And I get it. But what about if it was more about bouncing forwards, elevating forwards? Yeah. Or we could look at it as failing forwards. I work with quite a few companies, and actually, the ones that choose to create the culture or the mindset of let's fail forwards, like experiments, that scientists, sorry, yeah, they're the ones that create not only a more, I would say, relaxed and empowered culture, but they actually get better results in the end. Yeah, and we don't have to just look at it as businesses, but we could look at it as just our own personal life. Is what if we were to just take it as fading forwards? Yeah, and coming out the other side stronger and wiser than before. So, have you in your life up until now faced the challenge or setback? I know you have, and come out of it the other end stronger and wiser with more insight. Yeah, I would say yes. But also on the other side of that is there's been setbacks and challenges, I'm sure, that have kind of really, really challenged you, right? And they have for me, for sure, as well. We get the bigger ones and we get the smaller ones. Um, but yeah, it's part of our life experience. So, you guys, let's explore how choosing to embrace, learn from, and overcome the setbacks you face now coming going forwards into your life, right? Can transform into your superpower, what I call resilience, the muscle of resilience. Yeah. All right. I wanted to show you this because I think this is really a really cool, really simple but powerful diagram. So if you see this as three layers, right? So something happens in our life, a setback or a moment that challenges us. Yeah. And so we have these kind of three layers that tends to play out. And what you see here is examples. It's not complete fact, but they're definitely examples of how it can play out in a setback or a challenging moment. So, for example, emotional reaction. So something happens and we have an emotional reaction to it, right? So that could be frustration or disappointment or anger or confusion. It might be a sense of anxiety. Something plays out emotionally or physiology. It happens in our body, right? So it happens in our mind and drops into our body. And so then from that, there's possible responses. Okay, so that might be for some people it's withdrawal, or avoidance, confrontation. That tends to show up as avoiding. Yeah. Um, some people will slow down and reflect. Some people will drop into denial. Some people will seek advice, right? Some people will want a different perspective or a different viewpoint. Procrastination can definitely, absolutely, 1,000,000% show up for some people. And then the layer that we want to kind of navigate to experience more of, right, is this positive outcome layer, which is learning, meaning gaining insights into personal and situational. One second, sorry, my screen's gone a bit weird this side. Yeah, so gaining insights into personal and situational dynamics, right? So this say for example, this is learning, right? For all of us, you come onto a call like this and there's an opportunity to learn something, like even if it's just one thing that you walk away with. So there's a positive outcome, right? um, there's growth, there's this opportunity for growing, as we said right at the beginning, right? So developing personal strengths and like to be more competent when the challenges arise, and then adaptability or adaptation, eventually adjusting strategies to better handle similar situations in the future. Now, I may be a little bit biased here, but because I've had yoga in my life, and you guys have as well for some time, yoga or holistic experiences, whether it's yoga, meditation, powerful breath work, self reflection, has definitely given me more power to be more adaptable. Or I'd say it's given me more strength to rebound quicker from challenges. Yeah, if that makes sense. So I wanted to just show you this in how, if you think of three layers, with something, a moment happens in life, it's a challenging setback, or failure or whatever that is, challenge, and then we kind of go through this bit of a journey, yeah. And so what we're looking at is can we rebound and get quicker to the positive outcomes, yeah. What do you see, or what are you hearing? What are you seeing here? Feel free to kind of unmute or write in the comments. I'm not sure if I can see the comments because I'm not host, but we'll see. What's showing up for you right now here? I can't hear you for some reason, Louise. You're not muted. Where am I? I can't hear you. Can you, Teresa? Teresa, can you hear Louise? No, that's okay. You might want to put it in the chat, but I can see that you're speaking. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, yeah, that's all good. But I'm sure you're sharing some good stuff here. Yeah, but and by the way, you'll get the recording to this, so you'll see this. But I think this is a really simple but powerful diagram that kind of shows us how we can go, how the journey from a moment of challenge, and we have these kind of different choices, I guess, different options, right? And we can drop and land into all sorts of variables here. All right, cool. Here's your first question. And you're going to have just a couple of minutes to explore this one, right? So reflect on a significant setback you've recently faced. Or maybe it's not recent, right? But a setback that you've experienced. How did your response to this challenge shape the outcome in terms of your mindset, your mental health, your energy, perhaps your confidence, perhaps relationship with yourself or others? Maybe it impacted your finances, your career, your business, right? And then what did this experience teach you about the power of resilience? How might adopting a failing forwards approach change your response to a future challenge, challenges? Yeah, and I'm just going to give you like a couple of minutes here on this one. So as always, you can come back to these questions, right, and spend a bit more time on them. But just for the sake of this conversation today, we'll just give you like a minute or so, right, just to kind of look at this. And feel free to share. Like if there's something's coming up for you, or you want to share something here, feel free to share. Okay. Another thing here is, so post the session, feel free to share your insights, your answers with me personally, right? And I'd be happy to come back to you and kind of um, in any way I can support from the questions or from the session. Yeah. All good? You got this one, you guys? Yeah? Awesome. All right. So understanding perspectives. A perception shift, right? So, meaning transition from feeling victimized by life's events to viewing them as opportunities for personal growth. So, right at the beginning, I talked about we can kind of ultimately choose life is happening for us or for me, or life is happening to me. Now, it doesn't mean that one is good or bad. It does what it does mean it's a very different life experience. Yeah, we experience it very differently, and it does impact us in a big way. Yeah, so this is really talking about that. Yeah, so the transition from feeling, oh, I'm getting rained on here, this is not, or this shouldn't have happened, um to, okay, what's the learning here, what's the opportunity here for me, for us? Yeah. Embracing agency, meaning control, right? So the importance of taking a proactive control over responses to life's challenges. So there's a kind of this, what I mean by this is feeling more in control rather than trying to control it or the outcome. Yeah, so we're embracing agency here. So the importance of taking a proactive control over responses to life's challenges. And then finally here, with understanding perspectives is transformational outcomes. So a positive perspective can enhance resilience and overall life satisfaction. So what we could look at this as is we're anticipating a what could go right here, a positive kind of outcome. Yeah. And that's a bit of a dilemma for us because our mind, our kind of brain is like wired in a way to keep us safe. So we so that drops us into a bit more survival rather than thriving. So the transformational outcome is okay, positive lens perspective on what could go right here. So we build that resilience muscle, yeah? A better outcome. What's a better outcome for us? Or what does great look like for us? What does great look like for me? Yeah. Another question here for you guys. So think of a challenge you faced recently. Okay, so something that came up for you recently. How could seeing it as an opportunity for learning and elevated growth change your response in the future? So just write down a challenge or think of a challenge you faced recently, yeah? Be it in your personal life, your professional life. And then how could you seeing it as an opportunity for learning and elevated growth change your response in the future, right? I can see the chats now. Cool. I think constantly bouncing back is reactive becomes unhealthy, whereas the fail forwards helps build strategies for the future and also better for the neurological setup. Absolutely, Louise. No worries, Katerina. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, keep the chat alive. Awesome. All right, cool. You guys, again, feel free to come back. I would suggest you come back to these questions and spend a bit more time and reflective moments on these, and feel free to share your insights. Right. Embracing proactivity. So, proactive mindset. Embody a mindset that actively seeks and creates opportunities from challenges rather than passively reacting to circumstances. Right. So we can easily react to a situation. So, for example, I'll come back to the last night. We wasn't expecting it. It's just life happening, and for a moment, I was like, "Oh, I could be doing so much more." But of course, I'm there, and I need to be there, and want to be there, right, as a support system. And so, yeah, I think this is again, we're talking a lot about a proactive mindset here, and seeking the learnings once again, seeking the opportunities, right, rather than reacting to the circumstance, because that just puts us into a low vibration, not such a great feeling or energy. Okay, strategic planning. Implement forward-thinking strategies that prepare you to handle potential setbacks effectively, turning obstacles into positive stepping stones. So a quick example here was actually working with someone recently, and they have a seasonal business, and so they used to really react negatively to when it dropped out. So when they when their financial side of the business wasn't so great because it was seasonal, right? And so what to build their resilience muscle and to think better about this situation because they knew what was coming was to plan it better, meaning they would set a buffer for their finances so they could kind of navigate through the few months where it changed and it dropped out. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example here, and you can obviously relate it back to your personal life or professional life. Is implement kind of forward thinking strategies that would help you navigate through a difficult challenge or a difficult moment, right? And it switches into more of a positive outcome. Yeah. Again, it helps to build resilience. And continuous learning, the importance of learning from every experience, using insights gained to elevate your personal and professional development, right? So again, just learning is so good for us, and we know that, right? And sometimes, like, this is such common sense, but sometimes it's not common practice. So learning is always going to give us access to more resilience and more growth. Yeah, for sure. All right. How can adapting a proactive approach change your daily routine and decision making process when faced with with unexpected challenge? Right. So just think about this one. How can adopting a proactive approach change your daily routine and decision making process when faced with unexpected challenges? So again, that could be something. So for me, be like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna have a visual meditation. I know I've got this challenge that I'm experiencing or is likely to show up, and I'm going to spend a bit of time being proactive and visualizing my best self showing up in that situation. Yeah, that's just an example. Okay, there's no right or wrong here. It's just you being curious and exploring, right? Okay, again, come back to this question. Cultivating resilience. So recognize resilience as a skill. So understand that resilience can be developed like any other skill through practice and dedication. It's a muscle that you can train, right? So think about when you do yoga or you go to the gym, you're one of the reasons why we do it or why people do those kind of things in life is to feel better, but also to build strength. Like so, for example, someone might go to the gym to build strength in their legs or back or arms, right? And so resilience is the same. It's a muscle, a skill that we develop over time, right? Like leadership, right? Leadership starts with ourselves, and so leadership is a muscle that's built over time, and so same as resilience. Yeah. Okay. Daily resilience practices incorporate simple resilience building activities into your daily routines, such as mindfulness exercises, ensuring adequate sleep for improved cognitive function, and saying no. This one here is a really big one, I think, for resilience. Saying no more often, because when we learn to say no, even when it feels uncomfortable, we're connecting to the yes. So we're actually connecting more to the yes of what really matters, what's really important for us. Yeah. And so no builds courage. And of course, like you guys that have done yoga trainings with the house yoga, right? We talk about being a yes, but also saying no is being a yes, if that makes sense. Yeah. This is a big one, actually. Cultivating courage and resilience, saying no more often is a game changer. Yeah. And then long-term resilience strategies, so engage in regular stress management techniques. So we're coming back to mindfulness, meditation, breath work. Maybe that's what one for me is going out daily walks, just stuff that helps us for long-term resilience, right? Weekly wellness classes, all of that stuff that again is common sense but sometimes not common practice. Okay, cool, all good. You guys with me still? Yeah, well done. So let me just give you a real time kind of example, right? So someone that I was working with not so long ago actually. So freelance graphic designer, definitely was facing volatility and fluctuating workloads that definitely caused her lots of overwhelm, and sometimes it looked like it was going to be or felt like burnout. Yeah, and that's different for everyone. So for her to cultivate this resilience muscle for her, she started structuring her days where she would take regular breaks, what I call pit stops. Yeah, that would prevent that kind of stuff showing up for her. So she would just be smarter in regards to how she approached her days. Yeah. And then she did a little bit of growth work, so professional development, and which specifically to her industry, right? That enhanced her skills, that muscle, had her feeling a bit more competent and confident. So there were just kind of simple ways, but it definitely helped in regards to her resilience. Yeah. So I just kind of I wanted to show you this. So it's just a powerful yet simple example of how you or we can cultivate resilience and grow in confidence. Yeah, it's just like a simple shift or seeing and doing it differently. Yeah, definitely supported her stress levels and responding better to certain things that usually or previously had her feeling overwhelmed or what I sometimes call overcooked and just not feeling so good about stuff. Yeah. Okay. What are 2 resilience practices you can start or do more of? Because I'm sure you're already doing it, right? This week to better manage daily stresses and prepare for the unexpected challenges. This is a this is a this is a really important question, actually, right? So just because it's a declaration, it's a commitment your end. Yeah. Feel free to share it in the chat, by the way, you guys. So, what are 2 resilient practices you can start this week, like literally today, to better manage daily stresses and prepare for unexpected challenges? Okay, so it could be something simple like, okay, I'm gonna take some more breaks in between all the stuff that I'm doing, right? Like Sophia did. Yeah, feel free to put it in the chat if you want to share. Again, you might want some more time on these questions, so come back to them. Yeah. Okay, gratitude is the attitude. It really is. It's such a powerful game changer in how we feel and see life. And again, it's a muscle. Like resilience, gratitude is a muscle. And I know you're grateful. Like I know you're grateful about certain things in your life, right? But life can become pretty demanding and pretty busy, and there's a lot of challenges coming our way, right? And so sometimes we just kind of forget about it, but it's so obvious. It changes the way we feel so quickly. So shift perspective through gratitude. Yep. So shift your focus from what's missing or wrong to appreciating what's present and positive in your life. I see this so much when I first start working people, especially like I don't know why, but business owners, they have this focus on a lot of what's going wrong, and I definitely did for a long time, right? And so that has an impact, and it's not such a great impact, right? And so we might just see it in our own life. You might just see it show up in certain aspects, and so you know, switching expectation or focusing on what's going wrong or what could go wrong to more of what's actually working right now, what's working, and spending a little bit more time on that. um, Gratitude exercises, so many reasons, so many ways that you can do this, right? So start or end your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for, not just thinking about them, but actually letting them, you feel them in your body or in your heart, right? It just massively elevates our perspective and mood, our emotional state. What are you guys saying in here? Meditate on what to really say no on, to be mindful about no. Yeah, playback. Awesome. One of my favorite books about gratitude, The Secret, Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant. It's an amazing book. Yeah. And so it is just a powerful decision. It's a powerful way to live into. Yeah. So make it a habit to express gratitude in your interactions with others, creating a positive environment and strengthening relationships, right? So if we're looking for it, we see and feel more of it. So if we're looking for it, we see more of it. Yeah. So if we put our drishti focus more on gratitude, we tend to experience more of it. We just see it more, right? And on the other side of the coin is if we're looking for what's not working, we see and feel more of that because that's where our energy is. Okay, so how might your day change if you actively look for things to be grateful for from the moment you wake up? So it just becomes an embodied practice, yeah. So how might your day change if you actively look for things to be grateful for the moment you wake up? So for me personally, my energy shifts straight away. So my energy is different, yeah. Obviously, that means my mood's different, my state's different, and I think that's really important if we want to, have a different experience. Cool. All right. What time are we? We've got a bit more time, and I just want to show you a bit more stuff, you guys.
Jason, the one thing that really shifted for me with the gratitude, and it's a bit like this: always be kind or positive vibes only can become quite false.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
and it just like you kind of go, oh, I'm grateful, blah, 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 and it doesn't really help. So I suffer quite often from insomnia, and while I'm lying in my bed thinking about the jobs I haven't got and all of this kind of stuff, I had a real shift the other day and thought, I'm not really practicing gratitude. I'm practicing platitudes.
Oh,
Um,
right. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
okay.
realised that I was in my cozy bed, and that while I couldn't sleep, I was grateful for the bed and the pillow and all of the comfort. And it was really strange because within about, I'd say, 10 minutes, I drifted off to sleep
Wow.
because I was really thinking about that experience rather than saying, I'm grateful that I've got a roof over my head, which is not what I really meant. So being
Yeah,
specific about it and really
yeah,
feeling it and small, that's really
absolutely.
helping me.
Yeah, and look what the result. That's a great example. Thanks for sharing, Louise. And look what the impact was, right? So it sounded like you got to sleep, like it had an impact that way, right? You got to relax more, and it dropped you into a different state. Yeah, exactly. That's and be more specific. And of of course, I think that's a really important thing to share there actually, because we can easily just go write them all down, write a list of gratitude, but are we really embodying it or dropping it into making it real, making it in reality, right? And so, yeah, I agree with you. You're right there. It's great. Love it. Awesome. Thank you. Veronica, one of my favorite. Oh, I've read that. I think it's important to be really specific. Yeah, I got that. Cool. Love it. Yes. Okay. So strategic reflection, purposeful reflection on experiences. So regularly set aside time to reflect on both successes and setbacks to understand their impact and the lessons they provide. So there's always insights here, right? Journaling for growth, maintain a reflection journal where you document your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and the outcomes of your experiences, helping you to clarify your thoughts and learning, right? So you can go back. I think the great thing about journaling is obviously it gets us out of our head, it gets us in expression, but we can go back to it and see the kind of growth journey. Yeah, because we've been journaling, we've been reflecting on those moments. Feedback and interaction iteration. So use insights gained from reflection to improve your approaches and strategies, applying what you've learned to future scenarios. So if you think about it, right, this conversation today is, that you're going to get a challenge show up. There's going to be a setback that plays out that's small or big. And depending on how you respond to it, you're either going to step into growth and learning and feeling more empowered, right? Or dropping into that life is happening for me, for to me, and being rained on here, yeah. And that feels different. That drops us into what I call below the line experience. So all of this stuff here that I'm sharing definitely shifts you into above the line experience. That's a better experience of life. Yeah. And it's better for our health and well being. Awesome. All right, cool. So here's another, just a example, actually quite recent, of how a setback was playing out and how a different lens or a different way to look at and approach things built more resilience and definitely a different result. Yeah. So this was someone that's like, so he was a startup founder. Yeah. And was experienced like a failed product. Right. So they had this launch. They failed. Well, they viewed it as it failed, but actually they had to really question that. And so they thought it was like a defining moment that dropped them below the line. Yeah. So they dropped into negativity. They moved away from possibility. And but instead of like letting this failure define the journey ahead, him and his team started to look at it and analyze it differently. Yeah. So what could go right in the future? Because we were looking at putting your drishti on, well, what could go right here? Not wrong. This isn't going to define you for the next stage of what you're up to. And so they sat down, they spent some time, and they got a different result, because this is what I call a strategic reflection, right? Is they kind of turned it around. And so they were looking at it differently. So they got a different result. And it's simple. It's simple, but it's really powerful. Okay. So lots of learnings, lots of insights. It's just an example I want to share, but you can obviously, this is a professional experience, but you can obviously adapt it to your own personal experience. Yeah. So potential setback to strategic reflection and a different result. Okay, cool. So a reflective question, I'm going to suggest you do this off the call, right? So you take this out post call and you spend a bit of time on it. So think about a recent significant event or project in your personal or professional life. What are the three key takeaways from your reflection, or if you choose to spend more time in reflection on the experience, and how can they inform your future actions? Yeah. So where's the possibility? Where's the growth opportunity for um, informing a future decision or action for you? Yeah. And this is where your transformation is. Okay. And all right, I just want to kind of just share this because this, I think this covers a lot of what we've kind of explored here. Yeah. So the power of resilience. So resilience is more than just a buffer against adversity, right? It's a transformative force that propels us forwards. Yeah, it's a transformational energy. So we've explored how shifting your perspective to view your life challenges as opportunities, right? Yeah, would you agree? So they're opportunities, and they can fundamentally change your approach to setbacks, which means turning potential obstacles that they're definitely going to come, into platforms for greater growth or greater insight. With insight first, growth next. Yeah, so insight first, growth then plays out. Okay. And then by embracing proactive habits, the stuff that we've talked about, practicing gratitude and engaging in strategic reflection, I think that's really, really important. You're going to easily equip yourself with the tools to not only survive, because we're not talking about surviving here. Okay, this is about you connecting to your best self. And so, like Louise, I met you a few weeks ago, right? You guys actually in training, and Louise, you were sharing, a massive kind of life challenge for you, right? And
Yeah,
so,
I think the thing is they keep coming, and they're not just for me, but the reflection I've got is that we bounce back, bounce back, bounce back because we're kind of drawing breath and you bounce back. If you apply the strategic reflection and fail forward with a curious,
yeah,
scientific, non-judgmental approach,
yeah,
it's much easier to be positive rather than to fall into the victim mentality. And I think that for me, that's a massive takeaway, which is shit happens, sorry, and it is just that. It's not because of you being this, that, or the other. So you take it, you think about it, and you move forward.
yeah,
I think the last thing is that we are all living quite disparate lives. So we may not be in our family environments, so if you're living away from home or whatever the setup is. And
yeah.
so the fact that as individuals we're becoming more isolated from our support groups, it's really important to set up now in a very different way than we would have done before. And they're my takeaways.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. That's really powerful. Yeah, for sure. And having that support system, right? And whatever that looks like for you or for us or for the guys that will come and listen to this training is, yeah, having that around us is really important because it takes a village, meaning it takes a community, it takes a network, whatever that is. Getting for me, I look at it as getting in the proximity that's going to elevate, yeah, whatever that ends up being. Okay, and just finally here, remember that each setback you encounter holds the seeds of your strength and wisdom. I'll say that again. Remember that each setback you encounter, it holds the seeds of strength and wisdom, right? So cultivating resilience isn't just about bouncing back. Like right at the beginning, I said, actually, we see it as bouncing back. What about its elevation up or forwards? Yeah, springing forwards to higher grounds, higher thinking, a better emotional state, so that you're kind of armed and ready, yeah, for what's to come. And yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to share today, right? Is just it's about greater resilience, navigating through the setbacks in a more empowered, holistic way. Yeah, that's sustainable. All good, you guys. Listen, I really appreciate you coming up, showing up for lunch, and I've loved sharing this with you. Thank you, and I would love to get your feedback. Right, just ping me a DM or feedback on the questions as well. What kind of insights you're getting, and yeah, awesome. Have a great day. I have this at the end of the slide, right, babe? I'm really excited about your journey, by the way, your personal and professional development journey in Ignite Your Passion. I know it's going to have a great impact. I think it has already. And so all of this, right, if you think about all the practices you're doing in that training, it's going to build greater resilience for sure. Teresa, thank you for holding the space, recording. Appreciate it. And yeah, you guys got any questions or anything to share before we jump off the call?